Hey meal planners, it's Kara, your favorite cheesy RD, which is our registered dietitian of course, and I'm here today to help you feel like meal planning is easy, stress-free, and fun for your family. And I'm sorry if you can hear the dog drinking. Apparently he thought now was the perfect time to go get a really long drink of water. Okay, probably eat something too. Anyways, I'm here today to not only show you what we're eating this week, but to give you a lot of tips and tricks to get you started with meal planning, or even if you're a pro, you might learn a few things around here. So, I don't know how many of you saw my story on Friday. Okay, but I did something called component prepping. And this component prepping is a style of meal prep where you're not actually cooking recipes. So you're going to cook components for future recipes, and then you're going to store them until you need them. So this kind of meal prep is actually perfect for those of you who complain to me all the time about, oh, Kara, I can't meal prep because I don't like leftovers, or somebody in my house doesn't eat leftovers. This is actually a perfect meal prep for you. Okay, so component prepping, again, we're not making the recipes, we're making components of those recipes for future recipes. Whether those components are cooked or just kept raw in the freezer or whatever until you're ready to make them, that's up to you. So for me, I do kind of a combination. I do a mixture of the raw, like chicken or steak, in a package, so all I have to do is grab that package out, defrost it, and then cook it when it's time. Or I do some of the already cooked, which you're actually going to see one in just a second, but you're going to see an already cooked meat product. Wow, can't talk apparently. So you're going to see how I did that today and how that helped me. So all in all, we're going to talk about what I'm eating today, component prep a little bit, and then also just kind of some fun tips and tricks to get you started with your meal planning. So, like I was talking about just a minute ago, I did a lot of component prep on Friday. So it took me about 3 hours, but what we ended up with was 8 weeks of meals, basically just ready to like pull and either like dump together or cook a little bit, but all the prep work is done. I've washed everything, well, not the meat, you don't wash meat, but I've washed all the produce, I've cut it up, I've sliced it, I've put it in the freezer. We've done meat, and like I said, some's cooked, some is not. I actually used some of both today, so you're gonna see how both worked. And then also, I do things like grains. So our brown rice is all cooked ahead of time. Beans are all cooked ahead of time, which actually didn't use any beans today, kind of weird for me. But everything like that is cooked ahead of time, so that it's basically just pull out and get ready on Sunday. It makes meal prep so much faster. And so I actually got started with this style of meal prep probably about a year ago. So I did little bits of it here and there before, but what I've started doing is prepping for these weeks or months in advance. So the reason was we were having a baby. And so we knew, listen, I know we're gonna eat after the baby gets here, or at least we should really try to. And so we need things that are just quick and easy to grab. But I'm really not somebody who likes grabbing just like a bag out of the freezer and dumping it in the crock pot. Because I don't know if you've ever tried them, but those recipes are kind of blah to me. Like they're okay, they're edible, but like nothing fancy or exciting about them. So I don't really want to do that. Let's do something a little different. So I started coming up with this component prepping. I'm not the first person to have this idea. It's all over. You look up component prepping. But I am, I think, the first one who really implemented it in my house. So you can be the first one at your house too. It's totally fine. I can help you through that too. So if you are interested in learning more about how I do this component prep and how you can implement it at home, just hit me up either in the comments or in a message with the words prep. So just prep. We'll get you started. But this component prep really saves a lot of time because we're not having to like cook the thing every single time. We don't have to do with the cutting board, especially with raw meat, every single time. Some of those veggies that take a long time to prep, like onions, and they make you cry every time, just do it all at once so you don't have to do it every single day or every single week, okay? So something to think about when you're doing component prep is food safety. So this is where a lot of my dietetic education has really come in handy, because I know what I can do, what I can't do, what we should be wary of, and I can teach you those things too, okay? And then on top of that, let's not forget quality, okay? Quality is really important with food, because like I was talking about before with that crock pot, like where you just dump one bag in and you're like, oh, go for 8 hours. Sometimes they're fine, but most of the time it's like, it's just not what I want, you know? So quality is super important. And again, that's where my education in food science has really come in handy. I understand how to prep things ahead and then maybe finish them off right when we're ready to eat so that they're still very tasty. We don't end up with like chicken leather, like chewing like, this chicken is great, you know? So anyways, this component prep is very handy, but if you don't know how to deal with the food safety components or the food quality components, I'm your girl. I can help you out, okay? So we talked about component prep, but let me show you how we did it this week. So first, okay, I didn't component prep these. So we have our eggs for breakfast this week, and of course the egg sandwiches. I do not do any sort of component prep for these. They're just, I guess in a sense, this is component prep. I have prepped the things to use later with the eggs because I make the sandwiches. I don't know. I'm not gonna count that. All right, that's not what I do, but that's our breakfast. It's already set. We do have some company coming this week, but she told us that she really likes Cheerios in the morning, so I bought the Cheerios. This was very easy food prep for her. Lunches are exciting this week. We are trying something new, and you already got a little sneak peek. It's very cheesy. I'm very excited. You can see here, it's not actually normal stuffed shells. You can see there's shells, right? They're not normal stuffed shells. I can already smell them. These are enchilada stuffed shells, right? Say it again, enchilada stuffed shells. So it's super easy. This is brand new to me. I'm just kind of playing with an idea I had. But if you want this, well, I'm gonna not call it a recipe. If you wanna know what I did to make the enchilada stuffed shells, just send me a message or send me a comment and I will tell you what I did and you can test it out. And maybe you'll be my little second recipe tester, okay? So next, we have 3 dinner meals planned for this week. And the first one is actually a crock pot recipe. Here I am like, oh, I don't like crock pot recipes. It's not that. It's like the ones where you put things in a bag and then you just dump the bag in and then, I don't know, just let it sit for 8 hours. I did a little bit more. So the way that I used component prep for this meal was actually to cut the beef. I didn't even tell you what it was yet. To cut the beef, I'm trying to get a little spoon here. The beef and the onions. And I went ahead and I put those in a freezer Ziploc, okay? So I could have done the carrots, I could have done the celery, but honestly, I was kind of silly and I grabbed the quart size one, so those didn't fit. But I put them in the freezer bag, and since I did that Friday, I actually went ahead and put it in the freezer just to be safe. So it actually did freeze again. So I could have made this, I didn't even tell you what it was yet, beef stew. I could have component prepped a little bit better. Oh, see, here we go. There's a good spoonful. You see some carrots, you see some, the crock pot, by the way, is right below me, so I'm not dripping onto the counter. So you can see the beef, the carrots, the onions, there's celery in there, some potatoes, just kind of like your basic beef stew. But we thought, you know, it's getting cooler down here in Florida. It's like 85 degrees. Perfect time for stew, right? Okay, well, don't worry, because we're gonna keep things heated up. Next with our, oh, I put the dressing in the fridge. There's dressing for these. Wildfire chicken salad wraps. So what we do is I use a little bit of flour, I use some crushed up tortilla chips and a bunch of seasoning. So these are a little bit spicy, but I put that on some chicken and then I put it in our air fryer for like 15 minutes. Here's where the quality comes in and the food safety. These are just slightly undercooked. So if you were to like take them out and eat them, they're not raw, but they are probably just a little underdone. Now the reason is, these are thin pieces of chicken. I don't know if you can see them. They're like little chicken nuggets, I guess, but not ground meat and who knows what in the middle. So these are actually just slightly underdone because they are thin and I don't want to overcook them because then go back to that chicken leather I talked about. It's like chicken jerky. No, we want actual nice fresh chicken, fresh tasting chicken during the week for our wraps. Okay, so we slightly undercook them, but not so much that we're worried a lot about food safety issues, just enough so that when we reheat them and they get that little bit of a crisp on the outside in the air fryer, but then they don't overcook, all right? So I do that by using my food thermometer and also just doing it a lot of times. Now I know this recipe by heart, okay? So there's our Wildfire chicken wraps. And if you remember from the last time we made them, the dressing is very easy. It's just a combination of barbecue sauce and ranch dressing, and you just mix it up. That's it. And I actually use the jalapeno cheddar ranch dressing. I don't know if you've tried that before, but it's Fantastic. So I'm not even a ranch fan, and it's good. Our second meal of the week is actually our Korean beef bowls. Okay, so I've got our pickled onions there. Well, they're pickling, they're not quite pickled yet. And then I have the ground meat, and this stuff on top is actually fresh ginger. So it's not mixed in yet because I actually component prepped this meat on Friday, put it in the freezer so it would stay as safe as possible. This morning I put in see the liquid at the bottom? So it's a mixture of coconut aminos, some fish sauce, and hold on, there's one more thing, sesame oil, there we go, and then the fresh ginger. So when that actually defrosts, probably by tomorrow, I'm gonna just mix it up, and then it'll be ready to go along with that brown rice that I showed you earlier, and then the pickled onions that I had you glance at just a second ago. And then we usually do different veggies in there with it. So maybe some shredded carrots, some spinach. What else we put in there? Oh, it's supposed to have cucumber. That's the other thing. Unfortunately, the store decided to charge it for us and not give it to us. So we'll be getting back with them so we can get our cucumber. All right, I'm missing one thing. Am I not? Oh yes, I just wanted to show off. This is why I was thrown off, because I don't normally show it off. But did you guys see my yummy pizza last night? So it's actually buffalo chicken pizza. I got pretty excited about buffalo chicken pizza because I was sort of craving this buffalo chicken mac and cheese that we used to get at the last station that we were at. And unfortunately, we don't have that restaurant down here because it was a local place. And so anyways, it's not mac and cheese, but it is a buffalo chicken pizza, and it's super delicious, and I was very excited that it turned out so well. But I actually used the chicken that I component prepped on Friday night, and I used part of that on the pizza yesterday. I also did some fresh shredded cheddar cheese on there and some mozzarella, and actually was supposed to get blue cheese crumbles and the store didn't have them. So I used the rest of that blue cheese dressing that I bought a couple weeks ago and had no idea what I was going to use the rest of it for. So I got to use that, and then of course buffalo sauce on top, and then green onions for just a little color. But it was absolutely delicious. So that was my crazy pizza of the week. It wasn't really that crazy, probably. I think most people have seen or tried a buffalo chicken pizza before, but it was still delicious. One more thing I want to talk about before I go today. I talked about this last week, but don't forget that starting on Monday, November 8th, I am doing a free 5-day minimalist kitchen challenge. So I'm going to help you simplify your kitchen, 5 different areas that are getting in the way of a really great meal prep for you. So I've identified 5 different areas that you need to clean so that your meal prep goes a lot more smoothly, okay? So if you're interested in that challenge, remember it's free, it's for 5 days, and it's all through email. So it's not like I'm coming to your house, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just giving you an email with some really great tips about those 5 different areas that you need to keep a little bit more simplified so that your meal prep goes well. So if you're interested, just hit me up with clean, either in the comments or in a message, and I'll get you started with that. And again, that is free, so don't forget that. And if you are interested in learning more about that component prep and how you can implement it in your life, just like all my meal planning pros out there, then send me the prep, so P-R-E-P, in the comments or in a message, and I'll get with you about that as well. And don't worry, if you want both, you can do both. Just say prep, clean, or just tell me, Kara, give me all the things. Okay, that'll get me going. I will definitely get in contact with you if you tell me that. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday. I hope your meal prep went well. And even if it didn't, take some of these tips and implement them for next time, and it hopefully will go a lot better. And participate in that 5-day challenge with me, and I will get you started on a nice simplified kitchen, and maybe that will help solve some of those issues you're having. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll see you next week.